Okay, let's get started. So these are slides that I created with Claude Code. I have a video at the end of the series on how I created these slides. But the objective of this video series is three parts. So one is, now okay, you have the data. What can you do with the data? So the analysis part. The second is the dashboard that I showed you, a front-end dashboard that can produce a good visualization and like what you can do with it, how you can do that, and how you can change it according to your need and all of that stuff. And the third is writing a paper out of this. Again, like this is the part that is really, the sleazy part. Like I would not do this at all, but I recently tried it and it really surprised me the way, the how far it can take you. When I get to it, I'll talk about it, but that's the idea. So there's going to be three parts. So first is this sort of, okay, you have the CSV file, it looks like this, and what do you do with that? And so I'll be talking about these three products. So hopefully I'll just run these three in parallel in three different tabs, and we'll see how those go and like what they are able to do. So the first is the analysis part. So the main thing that is required for this is just plain text analysis description in plain text, right? Like so you have a text file where you just dump in all your thoughts. So you say, okay, I have this survey on how people use generative AI, and these are the variables in the file. This is what I wanted to do with the data. These are potential research directions that I'm interested in. Let's say I want to know how much difference there is between urban and rural uptake, let's say male and female uptake, things like that. So you have a bunch of questions, let's say, uh, and demographic breakdown, time savings, product usage distribution, and a bunch of regression models to identify key predictors. Let's say these are the questions that I have. So you put them down in a file, and you start with that. Let's get to that in a second. So that's the analysis plan. So basically, you write in a file, this sort of prompt. So you say, okay, read this file and do this type of analysis. Uh, then the second part is this interactive dashboard that I showed you in the last video, which is uses all of these. I can tell it like if you know these, you can tell it okay. It should be a standalone HTML file that loads on its own, has very simple JavaScript, doesn't need any server side, Node.js or any of these other uh, programs to be able to load. So then you can build on top of that. I can say okay, I need headline metrics, I need interactive filters, I need deep dives, and so on. And then the final thing, again, like this is not what I would usually do, but I recently tried it and works really well as a initial draft, like initial template that I can build on top of. So this is something I'll also just show you just as a FYI. Obviously, I'm not using it for this, but I also would not advise people to use it for this at this moment. But I'm assuming this will get much better. And so basically, this is exactly what it does. So it writes all your sections, including because it has access to the data. And if you describe the methodology that you did, like, so you can just say, okay, I did a survey and these are the participants I recruited. We can go and look at like, the related literature. I can generate tables and figures and compiles the PDF and gives you the ready PDF. So basically, now my plan is like, so I can show you the actual PDF that was generated. So this is in the paper folder. So this is zero, like, I mean, I had zero input in this. So this is all one single prompt. So I said, okay, given this context, write this paper. It generated this 30-page PDF, which has like all of this information on like all the references, and it created the text file, compiled it, gave me the PDF. Like, so again, like, am I satisfied with this? Obviously, I'm mind blown with this, but I would not directly use this in anywhere. But if this gives me this kind of structure already, like where it says, okay, this is the design, data, methodology, this is the introduction, this is the related work. Like here again, like these sections are really, really coherent about like, okay, all these related work findings. And then this sort of table, again, LaTeX tables, I used to take me a day to create these kind of tables, but now, okay, they're all there. Then these are the definitions from that original survey that we got, and so on, right? Like, and then created all the plots and these sub analysis. All of these are PDF plots. I hope, yeah, they're all PDF plots. They're very good, well formatted, and all of this stuff. Again, like this is not maybe not the type of analysis that I want to do. I want to maybe do slice and dice it in a different way. But again, zero shot. I have an output like this, which is very good. I have some regressions and stuff like that. Okay, so that's the plan. Like so, to take you from this one CSV file to these sorts of different outputs. So the analysis and figures, interactive dashboard, and LaTeX research paper. So yeah, okay. I mean, this is all LLM generated. I'm reading this for the first time, but uh, again, like now these tools are so good that I'm pretty confident at what it says. So yeah, obviously, there are these sorts of benefits from it. Okay, let's get to the video. Let's get to the in practice. So basically, what I did here is I have four tabs open, right? And in each of these tabs, so this is my home folder, and in each of those, I created a Claude folder, a Gemini folder, and a codex folder. It's called codex folder, and each of them has just this data.csv file here. So what I'll also do is I mean, the reason why I did not do any pre-processing here is I really wanted to walk you through just so that you see the ins and outs of like the process and like how messy the process could be at sometimes. But maybe, I'd be surprised that, it works zero shot and, things like that. So this is a claude.md file, which I used for the other dashboard that I showed you. So I'll use this as a template just to replicate what it can do at this for this presentation as well. So basically here, I just described what I want to do. So this, I think I wrote something and then asked Claude to generate this claude.md file, claude.ai, the website. So then it gave me this markdown file and I copied it here. So basically, okay, just describes the project, describes the data set. So it says, okay, there are these different types of variables, demographics, employment status, generative AI usage at work, generative use AI outside of work, and then reasons for not using AI tools. So the data structure is there's some, as you saw here, this was all auto-generated. So this is the actual index, then this is the text description, human readable, then there's some Qualtrics metadata, and then the actual response data. And these are the main variables. So, gender, age range, education, and so on. And some of these are multi-select, so then you're also able to identify them. Then this is what my description is. Like again, like I wrote some of this myself, and the others I wrote with the help of AI. Most of it, I think, I wrote. So basically, okay, let's see. So here, let's say your task is to analyze this data from data.csv, give me a modern interactive dashboard that I can host myself. I don't want to use JavaScript. I can use JavaScript, but not server-side scripts. That I can host on my EC2 machine, which is this website. This is on my Amazon machine. Then there are folders which have these files, which are just screenshots from uh, that tool, that other dashboard. I just gave it these screenshots. So this is how this other dashboard does it, like this one, the GenAI adoption tracker. And then I said you should. I mean, this is for the front end dashboard. So let's first let's check. So yeah. So okay, I said okay, these are the main types of results I want to highlight. Like so, working age adults using generative AI in India. Then you should have a toggle. All of this. I really described the dashboard. Then yeah, basically the main thing I said is I want to reweight these for India, and I actually asked it to write this script. So this compute weights is actually a script that it wrote that takes the data that I have and reweights it for age and gender for India. And again, like all of this script was written by Claude Code with the help of my prompts. Then yeah, okay. Basically, it's this is describing what the website should do. Then I also had this other small thing, which is this kind of visual, which is it compares it with this OpenAI paper. So basically, I asked it, okay, this is your second task. Take this file and then create an interactive plot that looks like this. So basically, okay, in this, we may not want to look at that, but maybe we will get to look at that. So let's first, let's say, without even just doing all of that, like I will just take some of these. So let me just copy. So I'll just Claude dot. So I'll just open this and I'll just say have these. Okay, so here I will just remove all of this. So I will just say your first task, let me just dictate it. Like again, this is something that I'm doing on the fly. Let's see how well this works. Your first task will be to look at the data and come up with types of analysis that can be done with this type of survey data. I am specifically interested in understanding how Indians use generative AI tools at work and outside work, and according to different demographic statistics, uh, as well as urban and rural setup. And I also want, firstly, to get a list of ideas that you will be implementing, and then we can go through each of them and implement them one after the other. So, okay, so basically, I wrote this again, like, I mean, this is speech to text. There's some errors in here, but it should be okay. Then let me directly just get started with Claude again. Like, this is very simple descriptions, right? Like, so I just said I want these analysis. Just give me some analysis plans. Usually, it's much more detailed. Like, so now I have an analysis plan in mind. I type that down, and that, like, again, I sit down and think for like maybe 20 minutes, and then type it all down, or like just write bullet points and then ask Claude or Gemini to give me a better version of that plan that I can use in these tools. So, okay, but because now I'm doing this live, I just had this sort of very high level detail. So the reason why I'm doing this is to show you how these tools work. And one of the very interesting ways that these tools have helped me is to explore a set of possibilities. So right now, again, for me, I have the survey data and I can think of 5 different things to do. And if I ask Claude or Gemini or Codex the same question, it will be able to do those. So I will explicitly specify those, but it will also uh, suggest like maybe 10 other ideas. And most of those ideas are really crap. Like, maybe 8 of those ideas are crap, but 2 of those ideas are surprisingly good. Like, these are ideas which I would not have thought of. And in the worst case, like, as you'll see, like, there's not a lot of things lost here when we ask it to do these. Like, it'll give me 10 ideas and I'll say, okay, all of these seem okay, like decent. And just go and implement those, and it'll go and implement those and give me the results. So in the worst case, I'm just burning some compute. Again, like, these are all part of my $20 plan, so it's not like I'm spending a lot of extra money. In the best case, like, I've had cases where it just amazed me that it's able to go and get this specific index that some psychologists have developed in the 90s, and take that, run it across, and format it for my data set, like get that file downloaded, and then join it with my files, and then run some specific code to get me some sort of analysis. So it'll really amaze you at times. Again, not all the time, but you will have these sorts of moments. And so yeah, so that's an interesting use case. So let me just get started with this. So basically, I'll just say Claude, and that's how Claude Code is invoked. Again, like, there's a front end version of this which has a nice GUI, but I prefer this sort of a thing because, again, like, I mean, I'm comfortable with the terminal, and again, I think it's good that if you are also comfortable with the terminal. So, okay, the only thing I can say here is look at claude.md and perform the analysis specified in that file. So basically here, the main, oops. So, okay, so it has started working on it. Like, so it's, so the main thing here is it's a sandbox folder. So basically, it's asking me, okay, do you want me to give you access to this current folder? Right? Like, so this current folder is, downloads, projects, generative AI, Claude. And this is the folder that I'm comfortable giving it access, right? Like, so this, if I go to Claude here, this is the folder that only has this data.csv. So in case, if it deletes some file or changes some file, so this is a backup copy. Like I have my own copy here. So that's fine. Like if something happens, so that's how I work with it. Like so, I have a specific folder in which it's working. So I will not allow it to read data from this file. I will allow it to read data only from this current folder. So okay, I allow that, and now it is able to say. Uh, Actually, yeah, okay. It's because I reference these screenshots in there. It's asking me for access to that. Okay, why not? Yeah, so sure, why not? Okay, why not go and read those just in case? But again, like it's a sandbox. You can keep it as a sandbox and not allow to change these other files. So here it's looking at them. So it is using some of these tools, right? Like so, it's checking and reading these files that I mentioned in that file. It is looking at these images that are in those folders that are referenced in that document and so on. So in the meantime, let me just get started with Gemini as well. So I'll just copy that Claude file. I'll call it gemini.md. It doesn't matter. So I'll also create this here. Gemini CLI, you open with Gemini. I'll also do the same Gemini. I'll say call it codex.md. Uh, and then I'll say codex. Okay, so here again, I'll just use this. I'll say look at Gemini.md again. Like, I mean, these are intelligent enough, so they will be fine, like with bad case. So here, yeah, here Codex is asking me, okay, do you trust this? So there's also a new model. Okay, why not try the new model? Then I will say use codex.md. Okay, let's check this. So this is asking me for something. So I'm not sure what it is asking me. So it says, yeah, it's writing to a file. So I say, okay, why not write to a file? Or it's actually wrote a file, but it's asking me to allow it to execute that. So it says, okay, yeah, sure, execute that file. So here, okay, it gave me this plan. But okay, one thing with Gemini is that, I mean, I don't know if the video is going to be confusing because I'm switching these tabs across, but I just wanted to show you like how these different tools work in practice. But okay, so I'm giving it access to run that file. One thing with Gemini, particularly, I realized is this is super finicky about like the exact model that it uses. So I almost all the time go here and unselect the auto mode, which is the default one, and select this Gemini 2.5 Pro, and then say, okay, run this, so that you're always using the Pro thing. So here it's asking me to give this permission over and over to make changes to it. So I just said, okay, sure, why not? Like, so here it's saying, okay, I want to list these files here. Okay, I'm not sure why, but okay, why not? Uh, so here it's asking me to create this folder code. Okay, it's saying, okay, inside of this folder, I want to create these. I want to create a Python file and put all the code in that. Okay, why not create that folder? So here it says, okay, sure. So then, I mean, yeah, it's been running for like 1.5 minutes already. So here it says, okay, I'm writing this code. So I'll say, okay, for writing code, I'll allow you to write that code. So okay, here it gave me all these ideas, and then concrete plan. So adoption funnel, demographic adoption, tool preference, demographics and tool choice, interaction. Okay, I mean all of these I would have really thought of it myself, but it already is able to do that. And then, I mean, this one, I think I had to do it separately myself when I was implementing that dashboard, but here it directly gave me that. So it says, you have these zip codes from India, you can classify them as urban or rural. Okay, that's great. Yeah, go ahead. Uh, this is codex, by the way. So then here, okay, it's trying to create a folder, a file, a shell script that is has these scripts that it can run. So and this is something that I asked it to do. Basically, if you're creating a big project where you have multiple scripts, then it will create these different files, and I can just click on a single file, and then it replicates all the analysis. So that's why it does this. Okay, do that. Here it's asking me for more. Okay. Uh, okay. So then it did write a file called adoption funnel. So, yes. So let's check. So let's go to codex. So here the analyses will have this, and outputs will have some of these. Um, so as you saw, like, it is already able to create all of these files by itself. So here, okay, let's allow it running of that. Okay, so here's a good example. So it really tried to run a Python script that it wrote, and it got an error. So now it determines the error, and it goes back and makes these changes and says, okay, there was this error in there, like it's a very trivial error. So, instead of this print being written in the same line, for some reason it got printed in the next line. So instead of me running it and then telling it, okay, there's an error here, or like me correcting it, it's automatically able to detect this. So I'll say, okay, allow. So, and then, okay, it ran, and then it's able to see, then it says, okay, the data is being loaded, it looks correct, and the data has these many number of rows, and so on. And then it said, okay, now I want to create this new file which does the demographic analysis. So it has this plan, and now it's going with that plan. So it's writing that. It also has this sort of log file, which keeps, so there's this uh, Gemini log file, which keeps a log of all the files that it has created. So it created the data preparation file, which does this. I mean, and this is something that I told it to do in my, so there's this master um, Gemini thing that you can specify. So you can say, okay, all plots are PDFs, and then if you're generating or whatever, like these are things that I require. So here I said always, write code in the code folder and so on. So every project it does it, then yeah, it does, then it provides this sort of structure. Okay, so this has been working. So let's try to run this. So this I'll allow. So this again, like, is again working on its own. So it says, I mean, it has been able to read and understand what files have been there. So it's a bit slower than the others, but it's thinking a lot more. But now I think it's able to go through and generate these Python files that I want. Okay, so here it's asking me, should I allow the head command? Head is just like allows you to look at the top three lines, head minus three. Okay, sure, don't ask again. Should I allow it to run Python? Okay, allow it to run Python automatically by itself. So then, yeah, why not? Okay, so here again, like there was some error. I think the second file, yeah, there was some error. I mean, the reason these things are not found is it's because it's using the wrong Python version. So I will say, okay, use Python 3.11. Uh, okay, so yeah, I mean, maybe this is too much to walk through all of these steps. So I'll just pause here, and I'll let you know once all the analysis has been done. So again, yeah, I just wanted to briefly unpause to show you, like, this is Codex, but all the others are like that. Like, I mean, these have been working for like 5 minutes. This is working for like 5, 6 minutes, and so on. But anyway, so oops, sorry. Yeah, so you can see, like, this is already has implemented like 10 of these analyses automatically by itself and run all these analyses and like put all of them in the outputs folder. So it's able to do all of this automatically by itself, like, right? Like, so I just sit down and like relax, go get a coffee, and by that time, it is able to write these codes, run it by itself, test the output if the script is running, and always, again, like with any of these, the main thing is, I always needed to generate code for me to go and look at, right? Like obviously, I'm not really, asking something to do my work and then uploading the results of that onto the web or publishing a paper with that. That's, not not something you should take away from this. This is it gives me the code. I go and look at the code, and the code is all in Python. Like, so, this is something that I can easily do. So here, okay, now I will obviously, before I, work on this data or publish this data or trust the analysis, I will actually go and look at each of these codes to see if they are correct, right? Like, and like some of these are like super trivial pieces of code, like so they should be correct. But yeah, okay. So it did do all of the analysis. It took like 5 minutes or so. Codex. Let's check what these other things are doing. So I don't know why this is taking so long. Okay, so this one also did finish. This is Claude, and this is Gemini is still running. Okay, but again, like there's some error here, so it's able to fix. It'll try to fix that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so basically, let's try to look at the results. So, it says these are the types of, analysis numbers. So the output numbers from the analysis. So there should be an analysis plan in this folder, right? Like which, I mean, I assume it's here, but you can also specifically say, okay, document all the analysis that you do, which is doing here. So, it says, oh, okay, they did not do the analysis. Actually, it just is proposing the analysis plan. So yeah, this is thinking a bit more deeper. So it thought for like 5 minutes and came up with this analysis plan. So here, yeah. So yeah, it did give me like, 5 or 6 types of analysis. Then I could say, okay, go and do this type of analysis. It already looked at that other index.html file, which is the dashboard that I showed you. So it says, okay, those analysis are already included in that file. So why don't you do these sorts of things like, age, gender crosstab, age, income crosstab, frequency by demographics, and so on. So I can just say, okay, implement the new analysis first, only the new analysis. Okay, so something like this, and then it'll go and work on it. So here, I think there's something wrong here with Gemini. It's usually gets sometimes stuck in a loop. Okay, but it does seem to generate some of these plots, so which is okay. So with Codex, they did generate all of these. Like so, it gave me this. So let's check it out. So here it says, okay, so these are all the codes that it wrote. This is good. Then this output is like, okay, these are the adoption metrics. So, total valid responses, employed responses, generative AI for a job is 71%, like among employed, like all of these stuff. Like, so again, like this is very simple code, right? Like that would have taken me 20 minutes to write. I mean, I don't know, 10 minutes to write, but okay, now I have that ready. Like in 5 minutes, I'm able to do this kind of stuff. Then it gave me these sorts of reports and saying, that was the CSV file, and this is like a report file that I can take a look at. Then this is the demographic adoption, by gender, among age, gender, and so on. Like this is just a CSV file, and this is the report file for that. And then this is the demographic tool choice, like, who are, how many women are using ChatGPT or Gemini, and so on, like DeepSeek, so on, Claude. Actually, nobody uses Claude in India, but so on, right? And these are all the research questions that I asked it to do. and this is, an output of it. And you have all the Python files for this. So you can also say, okay, for codex, I can say, give me a shell script that can replicate all this analysis and readme. Maybe there is a readme already. Okay, so okay, give me a shell script, meaning it just creates a list of these commands that I can run to generate these Python files. Uh, okay, so let's say uh, here, okay, Claude has written a plan like, okay, so then let me just say here, because, okay, one of the things that is important is like Claude is, especially like these other two are decently okay, but Claude is super stingy about like the rate limits. So their rate limits really run out very quickly. So if I in this video I want to show you all three, then I will not like really do this analysis. You saw how much it can do and what it can do. But Okay, so let me not do this. So I will just say, okay, don't do that, and I'll get out of this. So here, yeah, it is also telling me that, it is trying to implement these new things. Okay, actually, it is, I mean, because I gave it access to that folder above, like as well. It is trying to make changes to that, which I don't want at this point. So I will just quit Claude for now. But I mean, in the next in the next video, I'll go through and how I created these front end, and I'll try to create all the front end dashboard from all of these three tools, and let's also compare like how the front end looks like. And finally, let's look at the paper writing part of it, like how it wrote the paper and what it can do with that.